One of the highlights of my year is looking back at all the things I learned. I had always wanted to learn how to sculpt, but it always seemed so intimidating for some reason. This year, I decided that there's no excuses. So today, I'm going to take you through everything I made with polymer clay this year. Before I even began my journey, I watched hours of people sculpting and deciding on the best brands to use. Throwing away everything I learned just right out the window, I started out with a small clay kit from the grocery store. It came with multiple colors and 2 plastic tools to get started. I'll admit, the first little sculpture I made wasn't even close to perfect. I don't know if you can tell, but it's an orange cat as a loaf of bread. I made it as a commemorative piece for my partner whose cat had recently passed away. The biggest learning curve I experienced with this one was weight distribution. I had made the tail way too heavy compared to the base, and I had to repeatedly stabilize it while I baked. Overall, I actually kind of adore my first sculpture, and I'm so happy to see that I've improved since then, even if it's just a little. The next thing that I made was a little octopus with a top hat for my mother. I don't know what made me want to make this for her. I just know that she loves sea creatures and I thought it would be really cute. So I ended up using like some glitter clay that I had gotten with my kit, and I got to play around with a lot of things. But this gave me a little bit of freedom to play around with the new materials that I had and kind of test the limits. So the next thing I made is a fan favorite, my Spirited Away trinket tray. I did not have a pasta roller at this point, so I flattened everything either by hand or with my chapstick that was on my desk. As you can see, it's very uneven and bumpy. That was not incredibly intentional, but I still love the way that it turned out. I was originally making it for a friend, but I grew too attached, and if you were to know me in my personal life, I am a very minimal material type of person. The amount of sentimental attachments that I keep are very little, so making something that I'm proud enough to keep in my collection is a huge accomplishment. So I ended up making something else for my friend, which you will see soon. Now it just sits in one of my cabinets, waiting for the perfect opportunity to be displayed. Moving on to the next items are my fruit coasters. I started with lemon in June and ended with orange in December. It was originally supposed to be 4 coasters in the set, the last one being a grapefruit. Unfortunately, I put the project off for too long and didn't have time because it was a Christmas gift for a family member. Next up is my Friday the 13th tray. I had so much fun making this for my brother, who is an avid horror fanatic. The base was made much differently than my first trinket tray, using 2 pieces, putting them together instead of molding it all together. This is one of the many times I learned how to properly mesh pieces of clay together. All in all, it's more of a decoration than an actual functioning trinket tray. Looking back, if I had bought more clay, I would have turned it into an ashtray instead. I won't get into the in-between mess-ups that didn't turn into anything, but I did try to make earrings for a family member and completely messed them up. They were the first project that I bought shaped clay cutters for. All in all, it was a good first attempt, but the next shot, many months later, was much better. One of the best things about polymer clay is that I can visibly see and feel that I am gradually getting better at something. It's a huge reason why I wanted to try a new medium or 2 this year, because I felt so distant from art. I just wasn't making things that I cared about anymore, and this gave me a fresh start. Anyway, the last things that I sculpted this year were clay pens. The first ones I ever attempted were Ghibli themed, of course. You can probably already guess, but this is what replaced my Spirited Away trinket tray gift. Astonishingly, 3 out of 4 made it out looking great. Sure, they took a little derpy turn, but I think that adds to the charm. The reason the 4th one didn't make it is because I was trying UV resin for the first time and completely ruined it by sanding it down. I went on to create other pins such as dogs, a little ducky, and a Spider-Man head for my partner. Polymer clay pens are probably my #1 recommendation for someone wanting to start sculpting, just because I don't feel it has as much pressure on them when making them. Clay pins can be as quick and simple or as difficult to make as you want them to be. Plus, they're wearable, so you can show them off whenever. I made an entire video about making clay pins. If you're interested, I'll leave a link, or you can just visit my channel. But that is all I have for this year's roundup. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I've decided that every year I want to learn a different skill, whether that be art related or something else. This past year, I definitely pushed myself to learn multiple things besides polymer clay sculpting. From cooking to plant care to digital drawing on Procreate, I kept myself busy. Well, I'm wishing everyone happy holidays. Bye!